I'm walking up this hillside. It's close to our camp. It's pretty steep. I had to walk really far down the road just to find a way up here. And there's just this big cement structure here. It's hiding away in the bushes. I think it's a water tower, or an old one at least. It's really big. I don't know if there's game cameras, so may or may not go up there. I want to though. I don't see any cameras, so yeah, I think I'm gonna go up in a minute. I want to double check because I've done this before in other places and saw game cameras staring at me. It's hard to climb ladders with one hand. This is the top. It's like maybe 12 feet tall. Sounds like it's hollow. Definitely used to have water in it, or may still have water in it. I just don't know what for. You'd think the campground, but we have the creek water. So I also thought if this isn't the campground water, maybe this is a little water reserve if a brush fire happens around here. Because it's not like they can just take water out of the creek like they can a big river. Because it is kind of a small creek. I don't think a helicopter could land in there and scoop out water. Only thing to make this any better is if I had a bowl to smoke. But sadly I don't. My girlfriend just texted me saying don't get sacrificed. Well, we'll see. I think I'm gonna climb down now, get another look at it from the ground level. And there she be. I didn't want to film climbing down because I didn't want to eat shit or break my phone. But I'm gonna continue on. I came up here just to look for mushrooms, but that was a bonus. I'll start filming again if I find any mushies. I had to take a break to drink some water. It's really hot out. Can't find any mushrooms, sadly. I'm not really looking for anything in particular. Just keeping my eye out for chanterelles, black trumpets, and basically anything else. Maybe chicken of the woods. It's early September where I'm at right now. It's really dry. So maybe I need to go down there by that creek. But I was down there yesterday and I didn't see anything. I was hoping up here might be better, but I guess we'll see. Started finding wood conchs. There's this nice guy right here. I love wood conchs. There's another one right here that has this plant growing through it. Wonder if mushrooms feel pain. Oh. And then over here there's some more. I believe they're all red belted polypore. That's pretty much the only fungus I've been able to find. It's not much. There's another one growing right there. Yeah, these woods are really dry. Took a few more steps and came across this little baby croc. Wonder how long that's been there. Never know what you're gonna find out in the woods. Yesterday I found a vape pen that still worked and a pair of tongs, but part of them were melted, so I just threw them away. I didn't keep them. Old can. Kinda wish cans still had this little opening. Always thought that looked cooler. Don't look like anything else is down there. Pretty neat. Yeah, I went a little bit lower in elevation. I started seeing more greenery down here. More green means moister soil, and moist soil means mushrooms. Found a patch of thimbleberries and some vine maple. So definitely moister soil in this area than where I was. Thimbleberries like to grow by creeks and dank soil. Just gonna keep on walking and keeping my eyes peeled. We'll see what I find next. I stumbled across what I think is false Solomon seal, but don't quote me on that. I'm not for sure. I don't go out looking for this plant, so I don't really know, but they have those red berries on them and those kind of long leaves. There's one over here too. You can see where there was a big berry cluster where the flowers would be. There's a bunch more of these plants in here. I dug out a bit of the root system of the false Solomon seal because I know that they have rhizomes, and as you can see here, it is connected to a rhizome. If you don't know what those are, it's basically one huge super root that connects other plants together, and there's quite a bit of plants that grow like that. Here's the rhizome here. You can see a little bit of new growth on there. You want to look at the leaves, see the veins go down really long. I don't know if camera's focusing good on those. I also heard that the shoots of this plant taste kind of like asparagus, but I'm not gonna eat this because I'm not 100% sure this is actually false Solomon seal. I'm like 80% sure. I mean, it's looking like it is, but again, I said a little bit ago, I don't pick this plant. I'm not too comfortable with trying to pick it now. If you were to pick a new species, you'd want to start small. Just take one bite and nothing else, see how it affects you. It's the smarter way to do it. And even before that, just take a bite out of it, chew on it for a bit, and then spit it out. Then maybe next time you decide to take the swallow. Yeah, that's false Solomon seal, I think. If it's not, go ahead and roast me in the comments. There's a squirrel somewhere up in these trees barking at me. Can't really see them, but I hear them. It's not looking too good on the mushrooms, sadly, so I think I'm just gonna keep wandering around, and if I see things I know, I'll tell you guys about it. Alright, I found something else I want to show you, and it's not a plant or a mushroom. It's scat, crap, or shit, whatever you want to call it. Right here. This here came from a coyote. It's basically dog crap, but coyotes have hair in their shit a lot of times because they eat things like rodents and stuff, and they just chomp them whole. And it looks like this has chunks of plastic in it. Whatever he ate probably didn't feel too well coming out. I'm down at the creek now. That's where I was, up there looking for mushrooms. Just seen a frog right there. Really like frogs. Well, since I can't find mushrooms, I'm gonna show you another plant in this video. If you hear voices or cars, I am pretty close to a road. I mean, there's a bridge right over there. But this is a good spot for this plant. It's all over the place. These are wild rose. And the fruits are called rose hips. It's edible, and they actually contain more vitamin C than an orange does. I tell that to people and they look at me like, you lying. I'm not. They're healthy. Eating large amounts of rose hips can act as a laxative, so be careful how much you eat. And they use these to treat things like gout and rheumatism. I think I said that right. Eating too many of these can cause heartburn, and like I said, it has a slightly laxative effect, so it can give you diarrhea and stomach cramps. Some people think it's good as a sleep aid, whereas others say it makes it harder to sleep. So do your own research on that. There's several different species of wild rose. The most common in the state of Washington is the Nootka rose, which I don't really know if this is that kind, but being that that's the most common species in our state, I'd say this is a good candidate for being that type. I don't know enough about roses to really tell you all that much about them. Like I said, I don't know exactly what kind this is, but it is a wild rose. These are rose hips, and I'm going to eat one for you. So just like any other fruit or berry, you want to make sure that the one you pick looks good, doesn't have any wormholes. You can pull it right off the plant. They usually always have a long stem attached when you pull them off like that. And they have those little leaflets on the end. Those are actually where the flower used to be. Can't get it to focus, sadly. I can only use one hand because I'm filming with a cell phone. But yeah, that dead looking leaf thing on it, it's where the rose used to be before the rose hip existed on the plant. Alright, so I cut this one in half. I couldn't film it because I couldn't find a place to set my phone to film. But this is why you want to cut them in half. Look at all the seeds inside there. And their seeds are not fun to eat. I don't like that. There's also hairs inside there too. And there's right there the seed to a rose plant right here. But yeah, you want to scoop them all out. I just used my knife. I'm gonna try to find an angle to film that so that you can see me scrape them out. Alright, got my other knife stabbed into this dead log, holding up my phone. Hopefully you can see this. All the seeds. Just want to scoop them out. And there's hairs in there too that can irritate your throat when you go to swallow it, so try to get all that out too. I've only eaten this a couple times. I didn't like it any of those times. You can make a tea out of it, which I might do that later. I like drinking teas. It's just easier to eat things. Like stinging nettles, I really like making tea with those rather than eating it as a leafy green. So now it's hollowed out. See, there's no seeds in there. Got a lot of those hairs out. It's hard to get them all out. They're really small. You can try blowing it, but it's not gonna kill you, so don't be too worried about it. Well, now here's the grand finale. You get to see what my face looks like eating one of these things. They're really bitter. Some people think they taste sweet, flowery. I mean, that makes sense. It is a rose, but from my experience, it's always been super bitter. But here we go. Wow. Yeah, it is kind of sweet, but it goes back and forth from being sweet and bitter. It's kind of interesting. Like, it was sweet at first, but then it got bitter, then it kind of got sweet again. It's almost like eating like a really unripe salmon berry, but then all of a sudden the flavor goes to it being ripe and then unripe again. I don't know how else to explain it. There you go, that's a rose hip for you. Yeah, do more research on your own, read a book, and maybe make tea with it, because yeah, it takes a long time to get all the seeds out if you want to eat a bunch of them. But again, don't eat too many of them, because these are potent little berries. Like I said, it can give you upset stomach. You might get sleepy, or maybe you won't be able to sleep. So there are some little side effects to be aware of. Alright, I'm gonna end the video here. I really wish I could have found some mushrooms. Maybe next time. Later, guys.